Oh yeah, I got some elevator now. Yeah, alright. Now let's climb up. The real test is manual mode, correct? Alright, let's see what we got. We're in manual mode. I wanted to get another flight on my Volantex P-51D Miss America version. This was sent to me by Banggood. I want to thank them much for sending this for review. It is one of the nicest flying little 400mm Warbirds I've had in the air so far. Very, very good beginner Warbird. I've got it set up on my TX16S using protocol V761 sub-protocol 4-channel. I've got, I normally have my momentary switch set up for resetting my flight timer, but I've got that set up on a different switch, and I'm using the momentary switch for the stunt button. So it's kind of hit and miss, but it was that way on the stock transmitter too. It seems like sometimes it will initiate the stunt and sometimes it won't, but let's get it in the air. I've got it in fully stabilized mode right now, beginner mode. Feels like my prop's getting a little vibration in it. I may have to balance that again. Okay. So let's come through here. This is in fully stabilized mode. I'm going to try to use my stunt button, my momentary switch as my stunt button to see. There we go. Okay, so it initiated a left roll there. We'll bring it back through here and see if we could do a loop with it. Okay, well, it didn't want to do a loop. It wanted to do a left roll. I'll try a loop with it. No, it wanted to do another roll. Alright. Alright, let's see here. Let's try this one more time for a loop. Take it for a loop. Take it for a loop. Ah, there we go. We finally got a loop out of it. Alright, so if I just slightly get that stick off center, it's going to initiate a roll rather than a loop. There we go. There's another left roll. Bring it through here, do another right roll. So my stunt button's working, but it's like the stunt button on the stock transmitter. Sometimes it initiates okay, and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. We got another loop out of it. I hope I got that in frame. It was right over top of me. All right. So now let's put it into manual mode. Okay, so now we've got it in manual mode. Alright, I tweaked my linkage on my elevator just a little bit. I wasn't getting enough elevator out of it. So I think that's got that. The rolls are just absolutely fantastic on this plane. And I haven't adjusted any of the linkage other than the trim loop on the elevator. But I think what I might do, because I like flying it in manual mode, I think what I might do is get a little more movement out of that elevator. Change the linkage on the control horn. I've got it in the center hole right now, and the outer hole on the servo arm. So if I go to the inner hole on the elevator control horn, that will give me more movement on the elevator. Isn't that cool though? And that was, I didn't have much altitude there when I performed that loop. And the loops work out really great. See that? You can make a tight loop with it. So it's got pretty good elevator control, I guess, because I'm making some pretty tight loops with it at low altitude. Maybe I won't have to. I don't know. Maybe I just need to remove some of the expo from it. I don't know. But that looks pretty good. But isn't this handling great in full manual mode with the TX16S? It's I think this one, flying it in full manual mode, this little 400mm wingspan Warbird P-51D, I think that flying this in full manual mode is a lot like flying the Miss Helen 500mm Warbird, you know? It's pretty darn stable. Look at that. It is pretty darn stable, I have to say. I love that. Look at that. Look at that roll rate. Usually, you know, a lot of times with these little microplanes, I have got to really do some modifications to get a roll rate like that. And isn't that great? I'll stay out of the sun here. But the stunt button is working, and I just set it up on channel 7. Channel 7 is the stunt button. So if you want to set up the stunt button on a hobby grade TX, just use a button or a momentary switch like I've done, and just set up channel 7 the way you set up channel 5 for your gyro modes. Okay, that's all you got to do. Easy peasy, nothing to it. And if it doesn't work the first time you try it, just play around with it. You got to get, sometimes you got to get the timing just right. You know, the first time I did it, was like, oh well, I guess my stunt button's not gonna work. But it was just timing on the momentary switch and the movement of the stick. And so I guess the more familiar I get with that, the less I'll have you know, missed execution of the stunt button. Look at that. Is that awesome? Is that awesome? I'm flying this around like crazy. Look at this. Watch this. Whoa. This is a very aerobatic little P-51D. I'm loving it. Alright. My timer is about up. So what I'm going to do is put it back into fully stabilized mode. Let's see if I can bring it through here and get it on the ground. Chances are I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to go one more circuit. Chances are I'm going to flip it over because it's these little tiny wheels and this tough terrain. Alright, so we're coming in. We're climbing again. Okay, there we go. Boom! Alright, so the wind comes and it goes. But anyway, I want to thank Banggood again for sending this for review. It is a fun little plane. It is very aerobatic. It is very stable. I've had to do this is probably the least amount of setup I've had to do on these one of these 400mm Warbirds. So anyway, that is a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.